This is absolutely ridiculous. We have a massive draft update with the New York Islanders getting the first overall pick. Suddenly there is a new name in contention for the top three that we really have to talk about, and that is James Hagens. The player from Long Island, he is a hometown hero, and many Islander fans are calling for the Islanders to draft Hagens. And frankly, I have to say, this does not make any sense, and in this video, I'm going to explain why. Before we get into that, I do want to say thank you for all of you for subscribing to the channel. We have now hit our first goal of reaching 100 subscribers. Appreciate all the support as we make more Islanders content every single day, talking about rumors, news, all that fun stuff. This is going to be an incredibly busy offseason, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you do not miss anything. The Islanders have a golden opportunity to change their franchise, selecting a player to build around for the next decade. And frankly, that player should not be James Hagens, and I'm going to explain why. Now, before you get angry, I understand, yes, James Hagens is a hometown hero, and going into this year, James Hagens was the projected first overall pick, but things have changed. Things have really changed throughout this year. I think one of the really interesting things here is going into this season, it was expected that James Hagens would be going first overall. We didn't really know about these other prospects. And as Islander fans, even though the Islanders have not been great all season, they have always been competing for the playoffs, at least in some capacity. So we really haven't been focusing on the lottery, at least as much as other teams such as the San Jose Sharks and the Blackhawks really have been talking about these prospects all year round. And as a result, Islander fans don't really have as good of a picture of how much the landscape has changed in the draft, and we're going to talk about it. We have a lot of tweets talking about how the Islanders have to bring hometown hero James Hagens to the island, how it's a perfect homecoming, and after John Tavares left all those years ago, they want to get a player who wants to play in New York, and it's a beautiful story. It's one that really touches the heart. The issue is James Hagens is not the number one player in this draft, and there is a decent gap between him and two other players. Really, there is another tier of players. There's only two players in that tier, but there's another tier of players ahead of him. And as a result, this just does not make sense. And I think Matt on Twitter said it perfectly. There are two top tier talents in the draft. The Islanders have to pick one of those. You can't pick a lesser player just because they're from New York. And frankly, this is something that would never happen. Montreal, if they got the first overall pick, they wouldn't pick a kid just because they're from Montreal. The same with the Toronto Maple Leafs or really any other team. I understand this is a fun story to talk about, and yeah, news outlets are going to run away with this. I mean, the script is perfect. I mean, the Islanders, a team that was not supposed to go first overall, with a 3.5% chance, slipped to first overall the year that James Hagens is projected to go first. I mean, he's from Long Island. He's a huge Islander fan. We saw the picture in the beginning of the video with him wearing the Islanders jersey when he was just 5 years old. It's a great story. But just looking at the player, James Hagens is not a first overall pick. And this is not me bashing on James Hagens. In fact, as rumors come out, we're definitely going to talk about different scenarios where the Islanders can perhaps try to trade back into the draft and get Hagens if the scouting staff thinks that makes sense. Although, to be honest, I really don't think that makes any sense. I think that is just reporters making articles that are going to attract fan views. Obviously, this story has a ton of attention, but you just look at the stats here really quickly. And I will say, again, I'm not trashing on Hagens. Hagens is an incredible player. To come into college hockey as a freshman in your draft year and put up 37 points, that is incredible. But he was also playing with Ryan Leonard and Gabe Perreault, two really incredible players who both put up more points than him. I'm not saying they carried Hagens, but this is not what you want to see from a first overall pick. A top 10 pick, 100%. This is an incredible season, but a first overall pick, it's just not what you want to see. And for reference, another freshman that is very close to Islander fans' hearts, Cole Eiserman, their steal of the draft last year. He also played his freshman season this year, and he had 36 points in 39 games. And frankly, Cole Eiserman had 25 goals as opposed to James Hagens' 11. And Cole Eiserman was also not playing on a line nearly as stacked, playing most of his time with Kamil Bendarek, another Islanders prospect, talented player, but nowhere near the marks of Ryan Leonard or Gabe Perreault, who have both made their NHL debuts. And for reference, and granted, he slipped to the Islanders. He should have not been a 20th overall pick. This is a player who went 20th overall, and I know this is a year later, but these stats by James Hagens simply are not first overall stats. And while there is going to be talk about maybe the Islanders trade back for Hagens, my response to that is why? Why would you trade back for Hagens when you can draft a player who is more talented first overall? Not saying James Hagens will not become an incredible player, and we're going to look back in a few years and really see how talented all these players were and who were the best players in this draft. But as of right now, there are two players people are talking about, and the first one is Matthew Schaefer. And looking at the stats, I know Islander fans are not pleased. Schaefer had 22 points in 17 games. He hurt his clavicle bone, broke it in the World Junior Under-20s Championships, missed a lot of time. But before that, Matthew Schaefer really impressed all the scouts that watched him, up until the point where if you look at his elite prospects page, almost every single ranking has Matthew Schaefer first overall. This is Matthew Schaefer, number 1 by consolidated ranking, number 1 by elite prospects, number 1 by TSN Bob McKenzie, number 1 by TSN Craig Button, number 2 by THN Ferrari. Number 1 in that list, by the way, is not Hagens. Number 1 by THN Kennedy, number 1 by McKean's Hockey, number 7 by Flow Hockey. That was taken last season. They have not updated those rankings yet. Number 1 by FC Hockey, number 1 by Daily Faceoff, number 1 by Central Scouting, number 1 by Draft Prospects Hockey, number 1 by Sportsnet Constantino, number 1 by Sportsnet Beluga, number 3 by Recruit Scouting, number 1 by Dover Prospects, and number 2 by Eshmat Hockey. So many scouts have this player as the first overall pick, and most of the ones that have him second do not have James Hagens as the first overall pick, as we're going to go over right now. And I think that's really important to point out. With the Islanders, with the first overall pick, you have to pick the best talent available. I mean, these are James Hagens rankings. And again, they are really good rankings. James Hagen is a really good player. The only ranking that has him first overall is Flow Hockey, which was done a year prior, and Recruit Scouting. Other than that, he's 3rd in consolidated ranking, 4th on Elite Prospects, 2nd TSN Bob McKenzie, 6th by TSN Craig Button, 3rd by Ferrari. We can go down the list. None of them have him first or really second. Most of them do have him 3rd, if not later. It seems like Hagens likely will go 4th overall. I suspect that Porter Martone will be going 3rd, and that just shows this is not a player you can draft first overall. Yes, I love the story. It is an incredible story, but Matthew Schaefer is a defenseman who has the potential that all the scouts that watch him see. They see a version of either a combination of Cale Makar or Drew Doughty, where they think this is not going to be not a top pair defenseman, but a number 1 franchise level defenseman. And you can't pass up on a player like that, especially when your team does not have one. And for the record, with people being disappointed in the stats, if you listen to people rave about Schaefer, and for the record, after this video, I highly recommend you go look at some scouting videos where they show clips of Schaefer play, and you will understand how good of a skater he is, how good of a passer he is. We always talk about how our power play does not have a quarterback and how we need a quarterback for Cole Eiserman. This is your quarterback. Matthew Schaefer would do so much for the Islanders. He's not going to be a defenseman who's coming in and putting up 25 points and playing good defensively. This is the defenseman that has the potential to put up 60, 75 points every single year and also be locked down defensively. At least the ceiling is incredibly high for this player, and I think you have to draft them, especially if you don't think that defenseman is on the team. And most Islander fans this year were pretty confident that Noah Dobson is not that defenseman. People have been very critical of Noah Dobson, rightfully so, this season. And if you don't think Noah Dobson is a franchise defenseman, here's your chance to get one where you know what you're getting. Yes, there is some risk. With every player, there is some risk. But Matthew Schaefer is that good of a player. Now, if you do think Noah Dobson is a franchise defenseman, or you're just so focused on offense, there is another player to talk about, and it's also not Hagens. We can talk about Misa. Michael Misa is the second option for the Islanders. And I would say, while Hagens is not on the same tier and should not be considered at first overall, the Islanders, depending on their situation and depending on their GM, should 100% consider Michael Misa. In fact, we're going to be doing a couple more videos later on this week and as we get closer to draft, where we really compare Misa and Schaefer more closely. Of course, this video was focused on Hagens and why I think it does not make sense for the Islanders to draft him first overall. But looking at Misa, this is a dominant season. 134 points in 65 games in the OHL. If the Islanders do decide they think they have a good enough defense or they just want more offense, this is the player they have to draft. They can't consider Hagens. And frankly, I know there are a lot of talks about, well, the Islanders could move down and select Hagens. And to that I say, why would you do that? When you have the chance to select Michael Misa or Matthew Schaefer at first overall, you take it. The NHL gave the Islanders an absolute gift yesterday with the first overall pick. Neither of these prospects, honestly, even Hagens, these prospects are way too good for the New York Islanders to even be considering. And yet, they have a chance to pick whoever they want. And you just have to go with the best player available. Whether that is Schaefer or Misa, that's up to the scouting staff to decide. But we can't let this whole thing with the hometown story really cloud the focus of the Islanders, which should be bringing in the best player available. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want to see the Islanders draft? Personally, I am Team Schaefer, but I am definitely excited about Misa as well. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. My name is Patrick Nilan. This is Islanders Digest. Let's go, Islanders.